Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Okay, so we will talk about the hydrostatic curves, or basically hydrostatic particulars Okay, so first thing we did was, which is basically the first one that comes up usually in this kind of calculations, these are all calculations done using the Simpson's multiplier rule or the trapezoidal rule. So these calculations of hydrostatic curves, I'll put it here, particulars calculations. Are performed using the integration using Simpson's multiplier and or the trapezoidal rule. Either of those are used to calculate the hydrostatic particulars, hydrostatic data. Now, the first thing that comes up is, I told you, is the water plane area. So suppose you have a system like this. This is the top view. Okay, this is the top view. This is therefore y. You know it is y, and this will be the other half of the ship, which I am not drawing. This is y, so this distance is y. So this distance is y, and this is the x direction. Okay, so you suppose I take the moment. This is, let's say, the half perpendicular. Okay, so if I take the half perpendicular is always the station 0. So we have the AW equals integral y dx, where x varies from station 0 to station 10. Let's say something A to B, wherever the point is. The dx varies from A to B, from one end to the other end of y dx. This will give you the area under the area of the water plane area. It will give you this. This area it will give. Okay, and therefore we need to have twice the area, so we need to have an area here also. So that will be twice. So this 2 into this 2 into integral y dx is the total water plane area. Okay, so that is the first thing, that is very clear. Then let us take the first moment about this point. This is the station 0. Let's take the first moment about that point. That will be, so this is the x distance. So the first moment of area will be equal to, usually let's call it mx. It will be integral again twice integral x y dx between A and B, which is basically equal to 2 x is equal to x you can write as ji. Okay, let us write it I equal to n1 to n2, where I goes from one end to the other end. So this into alpha I, which is the Simpson's multiplier, into xi into yi, which is equal to which is equal to 2 into sigma I equals n1 to n2 alpha I into xi is equal to ji into delta L, or j into delta L itself. What is j? So j is a term which has values like this. So the station 1 will have the j will have the value 1 for the station 1. Station 2, j will have the value 2. So the distance from the origin, this is the origin we are doing from the off perpendicular. So from this origin to that distance will be j delta L. Each of these being, let me explain that probably a little better. This distance is dx equals delta x. Okay, this delta x comes there, and in this case we call it delta L. Delta L. So this delta L is this distance. So that's what they are showing here. So this is 1 delta L. The station 2 will have 2 delta L. So this will be j delta L at the j, where j I goes from n1 to n1. You are integrating the whole thing. So, and alpha I is the Simpson's multiplier and into delta L. Alpha I ji into delta L into something is missing. What should I put here? One more thing I should put here, no? What should I put here? This is what I am writing here. Alpha I is alpha I, 2 is 2, then xi is, no. Xi is ji delta L, because xi is the position of the the ith station. X coordinate of the ith station is equal to j time j of the ith station into delta L. J and I are more or less same. Okay, we say that station 0, I is 0, but for station 0, j is also taken as 0. So you can use interchangeably. So j into delta L, ji into delta L will give you xi. I'll write it here. Ji into delta L will give you xi. This xi, so j1 into delta L will give you this x1. x1 is equal to delta L into 2 delta L, then 3 delta L, 4 delta L, 5 delta L. That goes like that. So ji into delta L is equal to xi, and once so ji is gone, delta L is gone, alpha I is gone. So what do we have? We have the yi. Yi is this distance. This distance should be put here, yi. So you get integral of what we are trying to find is mx, that is equal to integral of xy dx, or twice xy dx, because we have two sides, this side and this side, twice xy dx, that is equal to sigma I equals n1 to n2. This is the beginning station, which is A, which is here, and this is the ending station, which is here, that is n2. I goes from n1 to n2 into 2 into xi into yi into delta L. Xi into yi into delta L, that is equal to sigma I equals 1 n1 to n2. I equals n1 to n2. I'll put it here. 2 I'll take outside. 2 into this into xi is equal to ji into delta L into yi into delta L. Now delta L is independent of the summation. It's a constant. So this will become 2 sigma I equals n1 to n2 ji
it should
L.
be alpha I, no sir.
Alpha I also should be there. Alpha I also should be there. This is there. Ji Ji, Yi, delta L is all there, but alpha I also should be there. You are absolutely right. The Simpson's multiplier should be put there. I forgot that. Here also, here you should put alpha I. Yes, summation will include an Simpson's multiplier in addition to these terms. So this comes as alpha I, Y, so this thing. So this is the expression for mx. So mx is the moment, the first moment of the water plane area. Let us write it here. Just a minute, it's stuck actually. Okay. Okay, so this is the first moment of the water plane area. I hope the water plane area at least is very clear to everybody, you know, because if you don't know the water plane area, you are in serious trouble as far as this course is concerned and any course is concerned in Naval Architecture Department. So the first moment, this is the water plane area, or this is the half of the water plane area. So the first moment of the water plane area is this, is given by this, is given by twice sigma I equals n1 to n2 alpha I ji yi into outside you have delta L squared. This is mx. Now what we need is, you now have the first moment of the water plane area and you have the area of the water plane. Therefore, the next thing you can find out is the centroid of the water plane area. Centroid of the water plane area would be the first moment of the water plane area divided by the area of the water plane. So when you divide these two, you will end up with the centroid of the water plane area, centroid of the water plane area. So water plane area I am designating as this. Centroid of the water plane area is equal to the first moment of area, divided by the area, which is equal to what did we get last time? We got it as 2 into sigma I equals n1 to n2 alpha I y, what was it, yi ji delta L squared divided by the area. What is the area? Area is equal to
2 sigma alpha yi.
2 sigma I equals n1 to n2 alpha I yi into delta L, isn't it? Yeah. So one delta L is cancelled, 2 is cancelled, so this becomes this ratio. This you have to know. This is how you calculate the first moment of the water plane area, and this is how you calculate the centroid of the water plane area. And the centroid of the water plane area, I'll write it in big, some colors, some other very good color. The centroid of the water plane area, I'll write it as WPA itself, is known as, I already mentioned it, it is known as the center of flotation. Center of flotation. Centroid of the water plane area is known as the center of flotation. Okay, this is something you have to remember. This they'll ask always in all the interviews, all the I mean, if you are going for job, what should I say, our naval architecture jobs, the interview they usually ask this: what is meant by center of flotation? And what was the important thing we saw about the center of flotation? Ship heels and trims about the center of flotation. Mainly this one. Heels, we don't usually say that. Heel is usually not used, but we can say for sure that ship trims about the, we say longitudinal center of flotation. We'll come to that. There is a lot to study in that itself. That we'll come to. So this is basically the importance of the center of flotation, because the ship, whenever it is about to trim, it trims about the center of flotation. It doesn't trim about the midship. The ship doesn't trim about the midship. It doesn't trim about the center of gravity. It doesn't trim about the center of buoyancy. It trims about the center of flotation. Okay, so that is how it works. And that center of flotation, how do you calculate it? That is what we just saw. This expression will give you the center of coordinates of the center of flotation. Then the next thing that comes up is now suppose this is the ship. Suppose this is the ship. Okay. And this is the, what is this? What is this line called? This is the top view. What is this line called?
Center line.
Center line. Good. So this is the center line. If I this distance, these things you should know. Okay, this is y. This is also y. Now let us assume that the aft perpendicular is here somewhere. This is the aft perpendicular. So the moment about the, first we will see the second moment about the oh, we didn't talk about the this is this transverse. Okay, well, let's do the transverse first. So dit, let us suppose this is a small element dx. Let's assume. Now the second moment of area, which you are used to calling as the moment of inertia, which is the only difference I told you again before. The moment of inertia uses mass, whereas the second moment of area is dealing with areas. Actually, it is the same thing, or analogically same thing. But here it is actually the second moment of area. So if you want to find the second moment of area of this thing, of this section, okay, if you want to find the second moment of area of this thing, we'll get like this. D, this is, I'll come to all the symbols and all that, whatever I'm writing, I'll come to that. dit is equal to 2y the whole cube into dx divided by 12. Now, how did this come about? Now, this is because what are we doing? We are taking the moment of inertia, second moment of inertia, or the second moment of area. I'll use the terms interchangeably. You also use it interchangeably. It doesn't matter. So I take the moment of inertia or the second moment of area about the center line, this line. So we take the distances in the transverse direction, because we are actually taking moments about the center line, which is, this is a longitudinal axis. Okay, longitudinal axis. This is a longitudinal axis. If you are taking moments about a longitudinal axis, you will be taking the distances in the transverse direction. This is transverse direction. Why is the transverse direction? Why is the transverse direction? So starboard and port. So you have this y given there. Now, if you want to find the I about this center line of this strip of, this is a rectangular strip, let's assume. That's what we are going to do. We are going to assume it's a rectangular strip, and we are trying to find its moment of inertia about this point, this line. It is given by, this is what it is done. LB cubed by 12. This is L. Oh, sorry. This is L. This is L, and this is B cubed by L. So here L is dx and B is 2y. The whole thing. So this rectangle about this axis. So when you are this is, let me see this. There is an easy way of remembering. I used to do that long back. So when you are taking axis about this point, about this line, then you cube this one. It is B cubed into L by 12. If you are taking moments about this one, then you cube this one, L cubed B by 12. Okay. If you are taking moments about this axis, if you are taking moments about a transverse axis, it would have become L cubed B by 12. But right now we are taking moments about a center line, about the longitudinal axis, and that gives you B cubed L by 12. So LB, so 2y cubed dx by 12, and IT integral will become, this becomes 2 by 3, that is 2 2s are 4, 4 2s are 8, 8 by 12, which is 2 by 3 again, into y cubed dx integral. IT will be integral of 2 by 3 y cubed dx, which becomes sigma 2 by 3 sigma yi cubed into alpha I into delta L. Now comes the part which I want to stress on. Suppose you want to find the transverse. So what have you found here? You have found here the moment of inertia, or the second moment of area of the water plane area about its center line, or the moment of inertia or second moment of area of the water plane area about the longitudinal axis. The moment of inertia about the longitudinal axis involves taking these transverse distances, as a result of which it is called as a transverse moment of inertia. So this is called IT. IT is the transverse moment of inertia, which is equal to 2 by 3 y cubed dx, and IT is equal to this. That comes this. That becomes this. That is obvious. Then this, but this is the trick. You know, this is where most mistakes come. Moment of inertia about a longitudinal axis is known as transverse moment of area, transverse moment of inertia, or moment of area, again whichever one use. Transverse moment of inertia. So moment of inertia about a longitudinal axis is known as the transverse moment of inertia, and the other way also. The moment of inertia about a transverse axis is known as the longitudinal moment of inertia. I haven't done that. We'll come to that in the next step. So this is your answer. This is 2 by 3 y cubed. This is your expression for IT. So this is what it means. I transverse. I transverse is given by this. Okay. Then the next step is I longitudinal. Now, then using the same figure, now we take a moment of inertia about this point. The moment of inertia about a transverse axis through the origin of coordinates. This is the origin of coordinates. It coincides with that, through the origin of coordinates. The origin of coordinates is usually the half perpendicular, which in this case is the half perpendicular. The origin of coordinates is in this case the half perpendicular. So when you have that, you are taking moment of inertia about this. So you will have d, its Iy equals 2 integral x square y. I think this is very obvious why it has come to this. X into dx gave you the first moment, x into y dx gave you the first moment, x square into y dx will give you the second moment about the, yes, x square into y dx will give you the second moment about the this axis. So we are taking moments about an axis through the origin, and this is known as the longitudinal moment of inertia. Longitudinal moment of inertia, or longitudinal second moment of area about the transverse axis through the origin of coordinates. Transverse axis through the transverse axis through the origin of coordinates. This is the expression for that. This can be rewritten as Iy equals 2 sigma xi squared yi alpha I delta L. Okay, with I going from n1 to n2. So this is equal to 2 sigma n1 to n2 xi squared is ji squared into delta L squared yi alpha I delta L, which is equal to